Like, do they like are the Canucks? The Canucks are in a position to go get a forward and a D man. So if they go to like, do they go to Colorado and get like Ryan Graves and pop Ryan Graves with Quinn Hughes instead of and let Travis Hamonic go? Do they, Tyson Jost is another guy on Colorado. Matt Dumba in
Why?
Minnesota.
How come you're focused on Colorado? Is it because, I mean, they have a lot of cap space? Are you just thinking the way I'm thinking? Is that they got to clear room for Sidney Crosby? Or
No, I'm just looking at their roster and they only have so many expansion slots. That's the
of
thing.
course,
They're really
yeah.
deep. It has nothing to do with Sidney Crosby in your
Could it
your weird
become about
fascination.
Sidney Crosby?
That's my my hot take. My just wait till it happens, and I'll be the one that said I told you so.
What's a more hypothetical? Okay. Is it that Crosby goes to Colorado or McKinnon goes to Pittsburgh?
Oh, there's way more of a foundation in Colorado.
That's insane.
I don't
know about the foundation, but I see it just Pittsburgh's kind of been at this level for a very long time. Isn't it time to start fresh? Like,
yeah.
We're in the twilight of Malkin and Crosby's career.
I just feel that if Pittsburgh even considers trading Crosby, that's like Disney getting rid of Mickey Mouse.
Maybe 5 years ago. And I think that's where your hang up is. Like it feels not too long ago that they won back-to-back cups. And that feels like 2 years ago.
We talk about trading Malkin every year.
Yeah, I think Malkin's way more possible than Crosby.
Oh, Malkin's going to...
But that's where they get to. It's Malkin's team.
Yeah. It's Malkin's team now. Oh, no.
Well, I mean, in much different very different and unfortunate circumstances, it became Yager's team. It could become Gino's team too.
And there's nothing unfortunate about that too. They were so lucky to have these two superstars on their team. Like, no one gets that lucky.
Yeah. But I mean, the Colorado Avalanche, they were the Harlem Globetrotters in game 1 and for a fair bit of game 2 and looked just absolutely dominant against Vegas. And then a switch went on and Vegas remembered who they were and how they play against them, or how to play against them.
Like maybe Crosby is that gamer that McKinnon needs to push him over the edge.
I love that Arash hates this so much, and as each passing day,
I just think there's no possible way that Pittsburgh does that.
Why?
Because he means way too much to the city of Pittsburgh and that team. Sidney Crosby single-handedly saved the Pittsburgh Penguins from moving.
And so did Mario, and so did...
No, Ryan, I love you.
Is that how Ron Hextall thinks?
No, Ryan, I love you. But Mario Mario did that. And then Mario did not move from Pittsburgh. When he of course, he didn't want to wear the Pittsburgh jersey and whatever. And then he ended up signing that deal.
What were you just saying before we started talking about the Avalanche and the Penguins and Sidney Crosby, and that there is going to be a change in player personnel and the way things are
with
done?
Like Jack fucking Eichel, Ryan. I am gonna take
a legitimate superstar that isn't his prime.
What?
Sidney Crosby is not like 2016 Sidney Crosby anymore.
He's Sidney fucking Crosby. He's not putting up 40 points in 82 games. He's not doing that. He single-handedly, by winning that draft lottery during the lockout year, saved hockey in Pittsburgh. Mario played with him for 1 year and then went back into retirement.
Yeah.
And Sid saved that team. He means if Sid really wants to play with Nathan McKinnon, he can wait like a year or two and win an Olympic gold medal with him. He'll be fine.
I'm just saying they gotta split that team up.
Pittsburgh?
They've done the same thing for how many years? They don't have it anymore. You could
so then they go and they go get another Jason Malkin
Zucker.
Those pieces.
They go get another
slanging this thing because Sid and Nate are besties.
It makes sense. The Avalanche were the best team in the regular season. The Avalanche looked incredibly human against Vegas, and they became a one-line team. bring in a guy that knows how to win, that brings a work ethic.
You can bring in other guys that know how to win, Ryan. Why are you focused on the Sidney Crosby things?
Because it's gonna happen. I like it.
It won't.
You don't know that.
I will bet my fucking house it won't happen.
Gita, can you write this down?
Arash is betting his parents' house.
No, it absolutely won't. Like, call it.
And the pizza joint.
No, why?
I've been wanting a pizza
joint.
that for years.
Yeah, take the pizza joint. I want to summer off. But so why Colorado lost was two-pronged. The first prong was Nazem Kadri gets suspended.
Yep.
So they don't have a number 2 line center. The second thing is this series was eerily reminding me of Boston, Vancouver.
Okay.
Where Colorado comes and Vancouver comes, they won the first 2 games. And then the team on the other side figures out A, who they were, goes back to it, and B, understands how far they can take it.
Right.
And then they just ran they shut down that first line after the first 2 games and just ran Rickshaw off, just forecheck, dump it the puck, forecheck, dump it. Like Sam Girard got exposed in that series. That game 6 was awful. Absolutely atrocious. And so you look at potential moves they can make in the offseason, like, okay, I feel like they probably have to move on from Nazem Kadri. They can find a better option, and I think that suspension probably left a really bad taste in their mouth.
Well, Nazem Kadri is a great second line shutdown center that makes has a great contract. The problem is you acquire players for them to play in the playoffs when it matters most, and that's when Nazem Kadri always gets suspended.
Yeah, and so like you look at okay, so they're going in the offseason. Okay, so like, do they have the potential of moving Newhook to that second line center spot, moving Kadri, getting additional pieces back that might be able to help them in very niche roles? So the harder forecheck, maybe a tougher, they got rid of Nikita Zadorov. Well, I'm not saying would be a needle mover, but in terms of bringing that kind of edge and toughness, like Eric Johnson's lost a step, obviously.
Eric Johnson's almost as old as Sidney Crosby.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah. So I think Joe Sakic is probably going to move in that direction, and then giving Bowen Byram more minutes. Not playing. Who is it? What's his name? Oh gosh, Patrick Nemeth, or I think it was Patrick Nemeth. Yeah, like playing Patrick Nemeth over Bowen Byram. And it's like,
this has happened. They had the exact same ceremonious second round exit.
Okay.
And you see Nathan McKinnon in the presser after game 6, and his hell of a comment is like, I've been in this league 9 years. I haven't won shit. Like,
he won a Lady Bang.
Hey, the best trophy you can win next to the, what's that one where you're like good? No, that's good sportsmanship. Yeah,
the NCAA
Leadership Award.
I'm thinking of the Masterton. Yeah. But I just feel like there is going to be some. Obviously, like, it's a long shot for Sid the Kid to go to Colorado, but it is my lock of the year. But like,
I don't think Brian fucking Burke is going to be the guy who traded Sidney Crosby.
Wait,
can you imagine?
What if it's Crosby that wants it though?
There's no way.
Who's the most competitive? Like, how competitive is Sidney Crosby? I mean,
incredibly competitive, but he's won 3 Stanley Cups.
Yeah, but I mean, this is a guy that has a lot left in the tank, and he's floundering, and it's just if his personal pride comes in,
he's the kind of guy that would walk away from a team because he thinks the team can improve by him going elsewhere.
We need to. Okay, I'm sorry. The reason Pittsburgh lost this year, and were they not top in their division? The reason they lost this year against the Islanders is because Tristan Jarry before every game would go like 5 shots deep in rum and decide to go out and be a goaltender.
Yeah, rum positive.
Yeah, he's rum positive. Now, they have cap issues, yes, but they also have. They have Malkin, they have Crosby, they have Zucker, they have Gensel, they have Letang, they have Dumoulin. what the stuff that fixes their team is addressing the goaltending position, and then finding a way to free up a little bit of space to bring in ancillary pieces. I mean, it's not like they missed the playoffs this year. I mean, if you watch that Islanders series, like Ryan and Gita, if you guys watch that Islanders series, Tristan Jarry was the problem. He was the reason, the single reason they lost that series.
You know how Garth Snow would wear like illegal pads back in the 90s that were way too big? Tristan Jarry was wearing like illegal undersized pads because he looked like a child in net.
Dude, he just would flub and make terrible decisions and stuff, and it was awful. So like maybe they move off of Tristan Jarry and Tristan Jarry's cap hit.
Here's my question.
It's not like he's signed for 5 more years. You know, he has a shorter term on there. And you bring in how many goalies are out there?
Not a lot.
Flower. What if they bring back Flower?
They already tried to. Here's a question I'm going to ask each of you.
Yeah.
Keita, I'll ask you first because Arash is needing to rehydrate. Do you think that the core of Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Malkin, and Chris Letang can win another Stanley Cup?
No.
Okay.
I think we're just hanging on to that nostalgia of like 5 to 8 years ago.
It's been a while. These players are old and they're getting up there and they are in their twilight, go try to win one more with the Rangers and look weird in a different jersey time in their lives. I'm not saying that what was the key factor of Burke and Ron Hextall coming and getting those jobs was they outlined it very clearly that nobody was untouchable on that team. And when you go out in the first round again, when you make all these deals and you wheel and deal to bring all these guys in to throw anything against the wall to see if it sticks with Sid or Gino and it doesn't work, just move on. I mean,
I'm so triggered. That's insane. Do
you want me to make it? Listen, let me put on my Jerry Krause hat here for a second.
Sidney Crosby's 33. Evgeny Malkin's 34. They were top in the East Division this year.
Yeah.
They did not miss the playoffs by like a fucking point. They were the top in the East Division. They can still play.
There's a lot of wear and tear on both those bodies.
But it's fucking Sid and Malkin. The reason they lost is because Tristan Jarry blew himself up.
And what about the year before?
They've become cursed by Marc-Andre Fleury, who's like 36. But well on his way to his next Stanley Cup.
Yeah, I'm sure
he's gonna have more Stanley Cups than Sid and Gino.
And that's gonna be the light. That's gonna be the fire under their ass to go to Colorado and win another one. I just think that these are significant pieces that are gonna get moved, and they're gonna go to. It makes sense. It just when there's smoke, there's fire. We need players that can win, that have a good work ethic, that know how to win when it matters most. Talking about like Letang or Malkin going to Toronto.
Letang. Okay. Oh my God. I'm slightly tilted. Wait. Okay. So Letang can't win. Crosby can't win. Malkin can't win.
That's the question. Are you going to win a Stanley Cup?
Crosby's point per game. Malkin was injured this year. Letang's still a top pairing defenseman.
Yeah.
I don't understand. What is your point? Just that because they're like, these are not 36, 37-year-olds. They still have a little bit of time left.
At one point, do you cut bait on players and say this isn't working and you get a return for them?
At the point in which the players you're talking about are not Crosby, like if they are 36, 37, and you know they're like a Ray Bork type time, when you know that they have 1 or 2 years left, and they like Ray Bork's impact in Boston was so beloved that he had never won a cup, and they said, okay, you're going to Colorado. We're going to give you one last shot at it.
That's where all these grizzled vets like going, Arash. Colorado.
Yeah,
proof is in the pudding.
But he's there. The Pittsburgh's core is still a high performing core, and those things, those pieces, insulator pieces around them, can be reset, like they've done forever, and they still have 30 Stanley Cups. and nothing's guaranteed. So like Washington, how long did Washington go, Ryan, with their core without even winning a Stanley Cup? And they kept sticking to it and sticking to it and resetting and resetting and resetting, and they finally got through. This year, if I don't need to remind you of Dan fucking Kluche, but one goalie, aka Tristan Jarry, can completely break everything down for you. So what do? In the offseason, they have to find money to give them one or two or etc. more shots. Your argument would be valid if Pittsburgh had went like 3 years without making the playoffs. Then I'd be like, okay, I can see that. But they were just top in the East.
Return. Move one of these pieces that it's not working.
Then
as simple as that.
And that's fine. And the argument, I can consider Malkin and Letang or one of them. But this idea that it's like, okay, well, Crosby wants to go play with his best friend. What?
Obviously, that's the spiciest option. So I'm going to hang my hat on it.
Spiciest option is Sid going to play in Washington with Ovi. That's spicy.
No,
they're not friends.
We're talking about spicy.
I don't think there's room for Crosby with Ovechkin's ego.
Oh, I think at this point he does not care. The man has a cup and he's chasing the goal
doesn't
record.
age.
Evgeny Kuznetsov is doing blow every year. They got to. Yeah, Kuznetsov is going to get traded. That's another guy that's going to be on the fucking move.
All right. Well, listen, we'll put a pin in this for another day.
No, we're not putting a pin in this. One of us is going to die and leave the podcast until this is done. God damn it.
I love it. We're gonna segue out of this because we are in this third round of the playoffs, but I would just like to conclude that debate. I would just find it hilarious that a Philadelphia Flyers fan as big as Arash is saying, no. Here's everything that's great about the Pittsburgh Penguins and how good and important and great and still good the bane of Flyers Nation existence.
Yeah, okay, I'll say it on the pod. Fuck Crosby. But at the same time, if you're asking me what you're saying makes any logical sense of what we know about the old boys club, like the fact that you're considering that a chapter in Brian Burke's fucking extended autobiography that we covered in our Patreon, $5, you subscribe to it, you can listen to us fucking talk about how great that book is. Pick it up at bookstores or digital or whatever you want. The fact that you're considering that an extended chapter is the day I decided to trade Sidney Crosby.
I would read that.
Who has big enough egos that they wanted to make it a point to trade Sidney Crosby? Ron Hextall and Brian.
No, that's good.
All right, let's move. Gita, do you have any comments as we close out that fiery debate?
No, I can't wait to see how this all unfolds and where Sidney Crosby inevitably lands and finishes his
career. Can you imagine if he comes to Vancouver?
No.
We've already got.
I know. It's a joke.
We've already got a poor man, Sidney Crosby.
His name is JD.
Pearson.